There are a lot of reasons why you might want to buy your Bitcoin a little bit more privately. And in this video, I'm going to show you the various different ways you can do that and walk you through one of the absolute best ways to buy Bitcoin completely privately and safely. Hey there, everyone. Jonathan Levy here, Bitcoin for the masses. And I have seen this question come up time and time and time again on Reddit and other Bitcoin communities. And so I wanted to address it. The question being, how can I buy Bitcoin without KYC or know your customer regulations? The kind of regulations that require us to send a passport, utility bill, and other kinds of self-identification when we buy Bitcoin. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, I'm not a criminal. Why would I need to do this? And so I want to address that elephant in the room. You can use the chapters below and skip this if you've already decided that you want to buy Bitcoin privately without KYC. But why would someone want to buy Bitcoin privately without KYC? Yes, of course, there is the criminal factor. If you wouldn't want someone to track or know who is buying the Bitcoin or associate your name with the addresses that you're going to be sending the Bitcoin to, that is definitely one factor, but it is not the only factor. Additionally, you just may want privacy from corporations like Coinbase or Strike, knowing how much Bitcoin you've bought, because those people may be subject to subpoenas in the future or whatever reason. You don't actually need a good reason to want privacy from corporations. And of course, you definitely don't need a good reason to want privacy from the government. Now, I'm not advocating avoiding paying your tax bill. Uh, if that is what you want to do, then do it. But I'm not advocating it and I'm not endorsing it. But I will say that in the past, governments have done all kinds of scary parties. The government demanded that citizens hand over their gold. Just this week, Argentina started tracking people who buy Bitcoin and limiting their access to dollars, which is a big problem if you're an Argentinian because their currency is subject to massive inflation. So you really don't need a good reason for not wanting the government to know how much Bitcoin you have. And I'm a big believer in privacy. I think it's just a good thing if people, period, don't know how much Bitcoin you have, whether that's other people you know in your life, corporations, governments, and on and on and on. So there are a lot of reasons, and tax evasion when you're selling your Bitcoin or processing it is not the only reason. Now, there are a lot of options when you choose to buy KYC Bitcoin, and gone are the days where you had to meet up at a coffee shop with some complete stranger, cash in hand, and just hope that they don't rob you. In fact, over the last couple of years, someone has built an entire resource page called KYC.me, which actually walks you through all the different possible exchanges that you can use if you want to buy Bitcoin KYC free. They're rated, they tell you how they work, they tell you what you can buy with. For example, some of them you cannot buy with fiat money. You have to exchange crypto for crypto. For example, bolts, or I've talked in the past about fixed float. Some of these just don't accept fiat currencies. Some of them do. Some of them are strictly in person. For example, local Bitcoins being one of them. And some of them are fully fledged autonomous exchanges, which have absolutely no human intervention. And that's the topic really of today's video. I've tried a few of these out, but truthfully, I think for most of you watching this video, you are not looking to exchange from Bitcoin to Monero or even necessarily USD to Monero, and you're definitely not looking to exchange from more advanced crypto, and probably you're not even looking to exchange from Lightning Bitcoin to Bitcoin. You have cash in hand fiat, whether it's in your bank account or in your wallet, and you want to exchange that into Bitcoin, hopefully not crypto, but Bitcoin. And I want to walk you through one of the options for doing that. And in fact, the best rated option on this website, kycnot.me, which allows you to use fiat currency. Now, I will say I have an ulterior motive here, and it is not affiliate commission. My ulterior motive is to get more and more of you using this because as of right now, as you'll see in a few moments, there are not a lot of people using this exchange, and therefore there is a huge premium On buying and selling Bitcoin, you will often find that the prices are 5% more than going to your local KYC exchange, such as Coinbase, Kraken, Strike, or whatever. And I want that to change. I want more and more of us to do peer-to-peer interactions. Not that I have anything against Kraken. I think they're a wonderful exchange. I think Strike is an amazing exchange for beginners. But I would really like to see more and more of the exchanges interact in a peer-to-peer fashion, because that is really the raison d'etre of Bitcoin. It's all about peer-to-peer, and if we are using centralized exchanges, one, there's going to be much more risk because exchanges get hacked, exchanges get shut down by governments, exchanges walk away with your money. But two, really, it's just going to be much more efficient, and the prices are going to come down if we are dealing peer-to-peer, no exchange fees. So that's my ulterior motive. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in to Bisq, and I will show you exactly how it works. As you can see here, there's all the information that you want on kycnot.me. It explains the different things that you can and cannot do on Bisq. And I want to really quickly open up Bisq and just show you all how it works. Now, I don't know my password, but fortunately I have a password manager, which hopefully all of you do as well. And we're just going to pop that in here. Now, when you first set up Bisq, it is a little bit confusing and the steps are not super clear. Unfortunately, I'm already set up here, so I'm going to have to tell you from memory exactly what I had to do. First and foremost, you need to set up a password on Bisq. Obviously, that goes without saying, but you also need to set up a multi-sig wallet on Bisq. The reason for this is that Bisq is a completely autonomous, decentralized exchange, a DEX, decentralized autonomous DAX. I think it's DAX, decentralized autonomous exchange. There's no people running Bisq. Of course, there are people developing Bisq, and a big shout out to Wiz and everyone else developing Biz. But there are no customer service people. The exchange operates completely autonomously, meaning that the way that they are actually handling the transactions is moving those transactions, moving the amount of Bitcoin into a multi-signature wallet, and therefore doing joint custody between you and the person that you are selling to or buying from. So you will need to set up a wallet in Bisq that you will temporarily transfer Bitcoin to, or your seller will temporarily transfer Bitcoin to until you both confirm that the money is sent. Now, in the event that you do not send the Bitcoin or they do not send the Bitcoin, there is an arbitration process whereby another Bisq user can track and transfer and you can submit information. So there are protections, but if everything goes according to plan, then with Bisq, you are only interacting peer-to-peer with the person that you are buying from or selling to. Now, I explained all of that very confusing stuff just to say that part of the initial setup process is going to be that you must set up a Bisq multi-signature wallet, and Bisq is going to force you to actually back up that wallet and prove that you've backed it up, because like any good Bitcoin wallet, if you do not back it up and your computer crashes or whatever, you could lose the money in that multi-sig wallet, and that would not be good, especially if you're keeping money in there for future transactions or you've funded the multi-signature wallet to automatically sell Bitcoin at a certain price or when it happens. Now, once you get that piece of Bisq set up, it is going to take a little while for the blockchain to sync, and that's because the decentralized autonomous exchange, there, I finally remembered because it's written on my screen, the decentralized autonomous exchange, or DAO, I don't know what DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. The decentralized autonomous organization has its own blockchain, which has to be synced. And that blockchain, as I understand it, is basically the order book being distributed over all the people who are using Bisq. So it will take some time, especially because Bisq operates over Tor, to synchronize all the different orders and just to get you up to date. And you cannot trade until the DAO is synced. Now, Bisq can be overwhelming, and hopefully I haven't already overwhelmed you, but really you only need to look at a couple different features here in order to understand how it works. First, let's go through and check out your account. And you can see here, I have a couple different accounts and ways of paying or buying. And we're going to blur the actual accounts but you can actually add in the different ways that you want to be able to pay. So you'll see I have Zelle because I have a Chase checking account in the US, but there are tons of other payment methods. And one of the first things I recommend you do when you set up this account is go through and set up all the different ways that you are willing to either pay or receive payment. So there are a lot, and it may take you a while, but first things first, you can add domestic wire transfer if you're willing to receive a wire transfer from someone else, and you can add all the details there. I'm not going to do it now because I definitely don't want to give you all my bank info. You can add TransferWise, you can add face-to-face, you can add cash by mail, which I'm not sure is legal in the United States, but you can try it. You can do face-to-face and say where you're willing to meet up with people. There are a lot of different methods. You can see here all the different things that you can add, and they've really thought through a lot of this. Like, what cities are you willing to be contacted and meet up in? How would you like them to contact you? Do you want them to send a Telegram message? And on and on and on. So I recommend going through and just, as the first step, adding all the ways that you are willing to receive payment. And again, there are a lot. So you're going to have to go through and figure out, are you willing to receive payment on Strike, on a transfer with the same bank, TransferWise, Uphold, US Postal Money Order, Western Union, Zelle? The list goes on. They even have cash deposit, so you can give people your ATM deposit number or your bank account number, and they can deposit directly for you. Amazon gift cards. So these range in various different levels of privacy, levels of convenience, and you can, of course, charge a premium for some of them that are less private or more convenient. Now, the next thing I recommend that you do is get set up with your mobile phone, because Bisq lives only on your computer. Now, of course, I'm assuming here that you've already set up your wallet seed and your backup automatically. So the next thing that I would do is I would take your XPub, which we've blurred part of here, and I would export that to a separate wallet such as Blue Wallet, just so that you can watch the transactions come and go if you are trading on Bisq. All you have to do is copy this that we have partially blurred, your SegWit wallet for BTC, assuming you're only trading in BTC. Copy that and import that into any wallet software that supports a watch-only wallet. For example, that could be Blue Wallet, that could be BitPay, which is an older wallet, it could be Electrum, any wallet of your choice. I recommend Blue Wallet. And the reason you're doing this is not so you can transact with that wallet, because you cannot, but rather so that you can see the transactions come and go while you are away, see that someone has actually paid you, because it's going to come in on that watch-only wallet, which has no rights to do any transactions or any spending, but allows you to monitor the activity in that wallet. Now, speaking of monitoring the activity in that wallet, the next thing, I promise we're going to get to trading in a minute, but the next thing that I would recommend you do is set up notifications. Bisq has an iPhone app, but the only thing the iPhone app does is connect to the desktop version of the app, which is synchronized with the DAO and has to be running in order for trades to go through. Yes, that is an important point. Let's put a big title up on the screen here. Bisq has to be running in order for you to trade, which means you need to keep your computer running so that you are synced up with the blockchain and your offers to buy or sell are still active. And this is kind of a downside, and one of the reasons why I've been pushing for Bisq to add an app on Umbrel or Citadel so that we can run it on our Raspberry Pi. But as of right now, as far as I know, I haven't checked in a couple of months, but you do need to keep the desktop app running, and you do need to have the DAO synchronized in order to be trading. So if you want to be able to get notifications when your trades are accepted, then you will need to download the mobile app, and you will have to pair it with this. Once you do that, you will be able to get notifications on your phone, so you don't actually have to sit by your computer all the time to see that your trades have been accepted. So with the account settings out of the way, you can see that there are a few different functions along the top of this application. Funds is obviously going to show you how many different sources of funds that you have. It's going to show you how much is in the actual multi-sig wallet on your Bisq. This could be funding that you put in to be able to sell Bitcoin from Bisq. It also could be funding that you received when you buy Bitcoin. because when you buy Bitcoin, it is going to be deposited to your Bisq multi-signature wallet until they receive payment from you in fiat currency or whatever, and then you are able to withdraw it after purchase. Now, with all that setup and cursory understanding, I hope you're still with me. Let's get into the actual functionality of the marketplace. You can see here that there is a marketplace like with any other exchange, but if you're like me, these kinds of views are really, really overwhelming. What you're looking at effectively is the order book, and you can see exactly what is happening in the DAO right now, what orders are happening, where the meeting point of the buys and sells are. But if this is overwhelming for you, don't worry, it's overwhelming for me too, and I don't use this functionality. What I ultimately end up using is the buy and sell tabs right at the top. And this is super, super simple. All you have to do is create a new offer to buy BTC and specify how much you are willing to pay, what currency you're willing to use. For example, if I'm willing to do face-to-face, I'm trying to use TransferWise, Zelle, or just a cash deposit, and then specify how much you want to buy and what percent from the marketplace you are willing to pay. For example, maybe you want to pay below market, maybe you want to pay above market, maybe you just want to pay at market value. And then you can specify what is the minimum amount per trade, meaning maybe I don't want to do any transactions that are less than 0.01 BTC. And I can deactivate the price if I get to a certain level of the market value. So for example, you know what, I'm going to stop buying Bitcoin when it's about $1 million. So if the price is at $1 million, we'll set that. You can set up the security deposit, meaning how much do they need to deposit or how much do we need to deposit for buying in the multi-signature wallet? And this is another point that's really important to understand. In order to secure both you and the person you're buying from, you will need to deposit actual Bitcoin in the multi-signature wallet of your Bisq in order to secure the transaction. You'll be able to pull that Bitcoin out later, but you can specify, so it's effectively however much you want to require. They recommend 40.74 for this transaction. And then you will both have to have the adequate amount of Bitcoin in a security deposit before the trade can go through. You can specify that in BTC or in Bisq, which is a colored BTC that helps fund the Bisq developers. There is a small fee, but it's actually a smaller fee than you would pay in Bitcoin. All this is a little bit confusing, but what you need to understand is you are specifying how much you are willing to pay and at what price premium, and of course, what security deposit you are comfortable with. Now, you don't have to create a new offer to buy BTC. You actually can scroll through and see all the offers that are relevant at the time of you adding it, and you can claim an existing offer if you want. You can also filter by the specific types of payment. You can show only the offers matching your types of accounts that you've set up, which is why I pointed out you might want to set up all your accounts first. You can see here, I have all these various ones for Zelle, which I have set up. And in order to do that, all you have to do is click Take Offer. Now you can see all the different details about this offer. You can see that most of these people are taking a 5 to 10% premium, which is why I want to encourage all of you to try out Bisq, and let's get those premiums down so more people will use this. I know Bisq is confusing at first, but I think the main reason people aren't using it is because it's so much more expensive to buy Bitcoin here, and it doesn't have to be that way. I'd be willing to sell at market value if I would ever sell Bitcoin, and I'd be much more interested in buying at market value, but I'm not going to pay 10% more just to buy in a less convenient way than a centralized exchange. So that rant over. In order to take someone up on an offer, all you really have to do is click Take Offer, say how much you want to buy. It's going to be specified, and it is then going to check if the offer is still available, and it will actually walk you through. I'm not going to do this right here and show you, but it'll walk you through the process of where you need to deposit the security funds, and it'll instruct you on everything you need to do, where you need to pay them via Zelle, and on and on and on. Now, let's switch gears to the selling function. It's very, very similar. I hope none of you are selling Bitcoin, but if you did want to sell Bitcoin and you did want to do it in a KYC fashion, the first thing you need to specify and check is your currency. For example, US dollar. Right now, there are only 24 offers, and there are even fewer offers matching my accounts, but that doesn't matter. To do a sell transaction, all you need to do is really the same thing. You can click take offer, or you can create a new offer to sell BTC. Now, you'll notice there is a spread on a lot of these sell transactions. People are trying to buy Bitcoin at below market rate. And I would imagine that some people are willing to sell Bitcoin at below market rate because they're trying to avoid a 15 to 25% tax bill. Not recommending you do that, but that's probably why there is a spread between the buy and the sell. You can take people up on one of these offers and they will get instructions for how to pay you, or you can create your own sell offer if you would like, and it's the same process as the buy offer. Now, one other thing I want to point out before we wrap up this video is that there is a built-in verification and kind of reputation function in Bisq, and every single buyer has a reputation, and you can see how much they have traded in the past. You can see when they set up their account, and there are limitations. So your first trade you will need to do with someone who has been verified. You'll need to do a few trades before you become a verified buyer. And that is just done to secure you against people creating bulk accounts and just scamming people over and over and over again. So there is a little bit of a limitation. You will need to do a couple transactions with more vetted sellers or buyers who will then be able to vet you. That is there for your protection. So that's just a quick overview of Bisq and how it works. I know I jumped around a little bit, but I hope that it was informative and educational for all of you. There are deeper and better tutorials on how to use Bisq out there, but the best way to do it is just to dive in, follow their setup guide as they guide you through the app, and try it out. I would love to see more of you setting up Bisq so that we can exchange peer-to-peer, cut out some of the middlemen and exchanges, and hopefully create a little bit more privacy for all of us. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. It really does make a difference. And I want to also let you know that I have recently added on our website one-on-one Bitcoin consulting. So if you would like my help setting up a node, increasing your Lightning Network routing, or just you want help creating a secure wallet setup, you can hop on with me on Zoom one-on-one, incredibly affordable rates, and I would love to chat with each and every one of you. So check out bitcoinftm.com for more info about that. Thanks for watching, and see you all soon.